She's a witch. Look at her. She's a witch.
This is how old people are treated in my country, Kenya. Is it a crime to grow old? Is it okay for them to face loneliness, isolation, or even worse, witchcraft accusations? I was born and raised in the village. Life was full of fun and meaning. I enjoyed living with my grandmother. And I remember each morning we went to the farm together, harvested our cassavas and tomatoes, and placed them in the bucket. Later on, we could go to the market. And after selling all our produce, we could go back to our tiny hut, open the door, and count the few coins that we got for the day. We had a lot of visitors. The neighbors' children were always coming to our place because my grandmother was so kind and loving to everybody. I remember one day I went to school and the teacher asked about our role model. So all the students shouted about their favorite actors and singers like Rihanna. But when it was my turn, I said, my grandmother. And the whole class went silent. I turned back and they were all making faces. Even the teacher did not believe me. I felt so embarrassed. That day I went home feeling lonely. And I told my grandmother everything that had happened. And I also told her that I didn't want to go to school anymore. And you know what she did? She gave me a hug, went to the kitchen, and prepared my best meal, ugali and tilapia fish. And while we were enjoying our meal, she told me the story of Esther. Esther was among the first Black women who graduated in the university, despite the challenges that she went through. And she also reminded me that it was very okay to be different from others. I witnessed the old woman grow old. And as days went by, she was losing her energy. And it got to a point that we could not do the things that we loved doing, like going to the farm together or even to the market. And then she started complaining of headache and then backache. And soon she could not hear or even see. She used to take care of me, but now I had to take care of her. Our roles had changed, and it was my turn. And there was this day that I woke up in the morning. I touched her body. She was cold, and she was struggling to breathe. So I ran to my neighbors to ask for help. But do you know what they did? They sent me away and asked me what I had to do with a good-for-nothing old woman, and even accused her of being a witch. These were the same people who were coming to our home to eat with us. But now, they'd suddenly forgotten about it and turned their backs against us. People forget so fast. The Kenyan community has always been known to take care of the old people. In fact, in most of the families, the old people were always the decision makers. Unfortunately, a lot of things are changing. The old people are now being accused of any misfortune that takes place in the society. And even worse, the young people are now moving to the big cities to look for employment. And what does this mean? The old people are left in the villages. They are facing loneliness and even abuse. And recently, the Kenyan statistics indicate that we have over 2.7 million old people, out of which 80% are vulnerable to poverty and majority goes to bed on empty stomach. And we have at least 100 old people who are killed annually based on witchcraft accusations. But remember, this is not only happening in Kenya, but even in other parts of Africa, like Ghana, where the old people, once accused of being a witch, they are sent out of the community and they have to live all by themselves. Is this what we want to see in our society? And do you know what's happening in Japan? In as much as we thought Japan was the best place to age, but things have totally changed. The old people in Japan are now resolving to crime. They want to go to prison. And why is this? Because once in the prison, they're sure of 3 meals a day, and at least to find somebody who can smile with them. Kenya has recorded among the worst cases when it comes to killing of the old people. And just in 2021, we had a case where a 19-year-old boy chopped the head of the grandmother, placed it inside a bucket, and took it to the police station. And why was this? Because the old woman ate his food. And not forgetting the 4 old women who were launched and burnt to death on a broad daylight while everybody was watching. The old people are facing a lot of injustice, but all we talk about is child's education, women empowerment, youth employment. Do we ever think that old people also exist in our society? Maybe we forgot. But the last time I checked, Cornelia proved that for sure they're very important. And this question kept coming in my mind. I wanted to understand what it meant to grow old. And that's why I visited many old age homes. I volunteered and visited the old people in their own homes. I even did a counseling course just to ensure that I was there for them. But then I felt this was not enough. That's why I wanted to do something to create a space where they could feel involved and feel safe. So I founded Rieko. Rieko is a word from my local dialect meaning wisdom. And why wisdom? The old people are always known to have a lot of knowledge and wisdom that they've acquired over a long period of time. And that is what we want to embrace. So how are we going to do this? We will implement the village model. The village model is where we bring the young people, the old people, and the children together. Then they identify activities that they all like and do them as one people. And for this, we'll do it in 4 stages. The first stage, Kwanza. We all know the 4 stages of life. So we will start by identifying the old people, the young people, and the children who have interest in making a change in the society. Then we get to know some of the challenges, the experience, and the skills they have. And during this stage, we'll make a code of conduct that stipulates what we do that does not go against any person's rights. And stage number 2 is kusoma. We all learn in life, and learning is a continuous process. So at this point, for instance, those who like cooking, those who like dancing, those who like molding, they all come together and form a family. And then we provide them with materials. For example, those who like singing, they get the musical instruments. Those who like gardening can go to the farm. And the third stage, kutenda. Kutenda is the action stage where now they do the actual things. If you like gardening, you can go to the garden and dig and produce your vegetables. If you like singing, you can record your stories, your song, and share it with the whole society. And the last very important stage is Rieko. We are going back to wisdom. Once we've acquired all the skills, all the knowledge, and all the experience, then we can now go out of the society and share the love, share the wisdom with everybody. And for this, we'll have 3 main houses. So when you visit Rieko, the first house will be the cafeteria, where we'll be preparing traditional delicacies and enjoying it with the members of the society. And just next to it, will be our self-learning center, where we'll be exchanging ideas, knowledge, and skills. And we'll have our garden. At the garden, we'll be producing vegetables that will be used at our cafeteria. And just to my left will be our community house. If you feel tired, you want to tell stories, or you just want a space for yourself, you can have your time. And of course, we'll have our kitchen. Would you like to see our envisioned Rieko? Let's have a look. At Rieko, we will be promoting intergenerational care, and we'll be learning how to embrace different stages of life. And so next time you see an old person facing injustice, being abused, or neglected somewhere, remember to stand up for them. For all the old people we see were once our age. Thank you.